Yo, man. Hey, tell me about that cut right there.
Yo, I mean, I wrote this album in a real tumultuous time in life, where I felt like I couldn't trust basically anybody. And loyalty was in question. So I just spoke on it. You know what I mean?
True indeed. Has that worked out?
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I have loyal people in my life.
Right.
It's just at that point, you know, I was going through, I just say, like, I was going through a divorce. You know what I mean? It was a lot, you know, and divorces always get crazy. And you know what I mean? People do things, you start to look at the person you was laying next to as a stranger at points. So, you know what I'm saying? Loyalty was in question, and, you know, I'm an artist, so I'm gonna take
So you're gonna express it in that music.
I'm gonna take it to the record.
True indeed. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. 89.3 WRFG. Yo, I need your music, man.
Yo, I was gonna say, let's exchange info. I'll send you everything as soon as I get to the hotel room.
Yeah, right? Man, like the people need your music.
I appreciate
you see what I'm saying? So like that's important that we put artists out there and we support artists as such as yourself. You know what I mean? Like, what's your goal?
I mean, the goal is just to spread the music. To be honest with you, I mean, I don't have these lofty goals like, I want to be the next blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't really have any lofty goals. I enjoy doing this, genuinely. Like, I enjoy making records. I enjoy performing records. I enjoy promoting the records. And as long as I enjoy doing it, I'm going to do it no matter whether I'm rocking a crowd of 10,000 or 10. It doesn't matter. I have a genuine love for this craft. So.
Are you trying to eat off it?
I mean, it's a good second income for me now.
True indeed.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's not my bread and butter just because I got kids that I'm really invested in their life. And so for me to be gone 200 days a year, you know, trying to get it, because that's really what it takes now since records ain't selling. You gotta be on that road. And it's like, for me to be gone for 200 days a year, it doesn't make no sense. So unless you get to a point where your music is visible enough to only do 80 shows a year,
right?
It doesn't make sense for me to be gone that much. You know, the fame and the money and all that's not worth my kids not having a father.
I hear you. How long you feel like you'll do this for?
Until, I mean, I thought I was gonna be done last year. I feel like a goof. Sometimes, because last year, I told everyone, I was like, I'm done. And then there's this artist, his name is EQ, that I'm doing a joint project with called The Combine, that we're gonna drop early 2016. So we did a few records together. He kept staying in my ear and showing me new pieces of music, and he's basically the catalyst to getting me back inspired. So I'm working on a project with him, and as long as I feel inspired, man, I'm gonna do it. Like, I don't care if my braids is hanging out, you know what I mean? I don't care if my hairline's back, like whatever. Like, if I enjoy doing it, I'm gonna do it.
True indeed. This is 89.3 WRFG. I'm in the studio. Issues, you can speak to that. Just, when he was talking about being on the road and sacrificing.
Yeah.
For the kids, you tried it. Remember?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you tried it and you was like,
nah. I mean, just really, we were just talking about that outside. It was just like, for me,
I mean, step up to my.
It was like, for me, it was just, I mean, I look at it now, man. I mean, I've been inactive. I haven't done a lot. You know what I'm saying? I kind of slowed down off the road. I slowed down off the road. Actually, I shut everything down. But I look at my daughter's 15. You know what I'm saying? My son is 13. My other daughter's 13. My other daughter's 9. My other daughter's 7. And just that time that I've spent with them, man. I mean, especially doing what I do as a social worker. That time I spent with them, man, like there's nothing that compares to that, man. There's nothing that compares. My son is 13 right now. I'm proud of this right now. My son is 13.
13.
And he's not into nothing I was into at 13. Like at 13, I was a monster. You feel me? Like, I wasn't a complete monster, but man, I look at my son every day and be like, man, I'm so glad. But I was there to walk with him, to show him. Like, me and my wife look at each other all the time, like, yo, parenthood. And the next line after that is a 24-hour job. You never know what point of the day you gotta do your job.
Right.
You gotta correct the bearing. You gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like, that happens all this. You can't plan that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's a 24/7. Sometimes you gotta do it over the phone. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Reroute everything you're doing. I mean, that's but that's the responsibility that you take on when you choose to consummate and you bring children into this world. And the fact that a lot of people don't understand that is the reason why conditions are the way they are.
That's what it is.
Facts.
And what's crazy is like, you know, even when they leave your house, like right now my son done left my house. And right now he out there in the midst of AC3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, just be careful.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'm just, you know.
It's real out here, man.
Call me though.
It's real out here.
Call me if you need
I
me.
mean, they, you know
what I'm saying?
It's real out here, man.
Call me. You know,
It's real out here.
it is, my people. It is. And the reality is that, like, I applaud y'all just as fathers because I've seen people who have made it. You know what I mean? And when I say made it, meaning that they sacrificed their children in order to be able to be sitting at the BET Awards.
Let me tell you a quick story. Let me tell you a quick story.
You know what I mean?
Let me tell you a quick story. When I met my father after 30 plus years,
I remember that.
never ever seeing him ever, right? I met him and I found out that he was a jazz musician and he toured with Gil Scott and, you know, Gil Scott Heron and a bunch of other people, right? I mean, his resume is lofty, right? He would, you know, he has 3 children in Germany right now, you know what I'm saying? And he sees them, he doesn't have custody, he sees them, whatever. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna put too much out there, but the bottom line is this. When I first met him, we was talking, and he had all of these memories of different things that he did and these big shows that he did and these experiences. But I'm like, okay, I'm his firstborn son. He hasn't seen me in 30 years. I have children. I can only imagine what that feels like. He has a daughter that's older than me. No one knows where she is. He has another daughter who's a year older than me. She wants nothing to do with him. Last time she seen him, she was 12. She's a year older than me now. She wants nothing to do with him. Like I said, I'm not trying to put too much out there, put people's business out there. It's not about that. But it's about, for me, when I saw that, okay, you have all of this, but not this, then the choice became clear. And this happened right before I went over to Africa. You know what I mean? Like, this is when I was in Germany. And, you know, it's like seeing that reality. And this is me, like, your children are you as a father. You know what I mean? That's why fatherhood is so important. Your son is you. You know what I mean? And I'm him, and my son is me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, like, it's crazy. My mom took me away from my pops because my pops was moving into the music industry. She took me away from my pops. And like I said, this ain't about pointing fingers or whatever. I love my mother, and everything she did for me was the right thing to do. And it made me the person I am today, and I love who I am. You feel me? But she took me away from my pops, true story, for 30 years. So I wasn't following his footsteps. We was apart for 30 years and we damn near walked the same exact path. So much so that we have the same set of children. This is no exaggeration. The same set of children, three years apart. He has a set of twins and he has a daughter older. He named his daughter's middle name what I named my daughter's first name. We haven't met in 30 years. And it's happened, right? Only difference is he didn't grow up with me. He didn't grow up with my sister. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot that I was going through my life that he could have helped me through. You feel what I'm saying? There's a lot that he could have gained from me as watching me grow, as I'm gaining from my own son. You feel what I'm saying? So when I saw it, it was like this is a version of myself if I make this choice. And I love my pops. You know what I mean? I think he's a wonderful dude. I love him, you know, for being my father and everything like that. But I wouldn't want that. I don't want that. 30 years without seeing my son?
I hate you. And we hear this story over and over.
Over and over.
We hear about Nas and his relationship with his father.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, he talks about that same thing.
Yeah.
So, like, I applaud you brothers just for being dope MCs and then also for continuing to raise your children. And how did your children feel how did your son, you know, I don't know if you have a son or a daughter.
I have all daughters.
You have all daughters. How did your daughters feel about your music?
They love it. I mean, but you know, like when we have them, you know, we will hang out. You know what I mean? And my drummer Jimmy is here. We in the same hotel room, so you know they kind of bummed out that I'm not home. You know what I mean? So the road stuff, you know, it bothers them. I can see how it moves them emotionally, but. You know what I mean? My decisions is based on there's enough women out here with daddy issues. There's enough women out here. You know, there's enough thoughts out here. You feel me? Like, and I just refuse to raise them.
I hate.
Like I wanna be able to deliver a good, wholesome bride to somebody. So,
Yeah, man.
you know what I'm saying?
And
So,
fatherhood is a necessary ingredient in that.
yeah, it's
Wow.
especially with girls, like
Especially.
it's absolutely necessary.
Yo, dudes out there, if you have daughters that you don't see them, raise them, and actually, if you're thinking that you're not being in your daughter's life is not as important as being in your son's life, you're wrong.
They're gonna go choose a brother just like you. 'Cause you're their first example. You're the first example of
Say it
them.
again. Say it again.
You're the first example. If you have a daughter, you're the first example of the man that they have. And best believe, they go out into the world and you wasn't around, they're gonna run into a younger version of you.
I tell you,
Facts.
son. I tell you. Yo, this is 89.3 WRFG.
You give a
On the
grown
real.
man bars today.
Grown
man.
It's a grown man cipher right here.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
Because you got to treat these women like you would want somebody to treat your daughter.
You got to.
You know what I'm saying? Even
But
if
you
they're
gotta
not
show
respected.
them how to treat a lady though. You know what I mean?
That's
So
the
they know
point.
what they expect.
That's
You
what
gotta
it
show
is.
them how to treat a lady. You gotta show them what a man is, so they know what to look for.
And then set the bar high.
Set the bar high.
Real high.
Real high.
Because if you're not,
Real
then there's
high.
no bar, and they take
You have to
anything.
be an Olympic jumper to get over this.
That's what I'm
Because
trying to
every
tell
male is not a man. Period.
Right. No.
Just because you're a male doesn't make you a man.
Real talk.
Period. So you got a lot of males, and now like the community of manhood is getting smaller and smaller. It's just a bunch of males out here.
We was
Some of
just-
the males, they like males.
We was just addressing.
You know what I'm saying?
We was
So
just
the pool is
addressing the
getting
dress
smaller.
issue earlier. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
you know,
Dudes
we're-
is wearing dresses and grandmama earrings and you know what I mean? Like
being a man is not in abundance right
this
now.
dude's got a song talking about murdering people. He got a princess jewel in the middle of his face that girls wear when they get married overseas. Like what is you know what I mean? Little princess jewels that I put on little girls' face when I face paint them at festivals. He got one on talking about murdering people. This is what out there for your daughters. I refuse. Nah, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. So
This
yeah.
is 89.3 WRG, grown man thing going on here. You know what I mean? That's what it is. So look, I gotta hear some lyrics because you know
Let's do it.
that, 'cause that
I don't
right
like
here-
to see.